What's up YouTube, TechShot87. Today we're comparing the H&K VP9 to the Glock 17. And before this video starts, I just wanted to let you guys know kind of where this video and the idea behind it. This is really supposed to be just a shooting review of the H&K. We borrowed this just to give it a shot and just have a little bit comparison between the two. But I thought this would be an excellent video. H&K started the striker fire polymer frame market and Glock perfected it. But my question to you guys throughout the video, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it, it's a little bit long, but we go through a lot of detail with this video. So what I want you guys to think about, Glock for a long time has been the king of the firearm world. But is it still the king of the firearm world with so many great options? Almost every major manufacturer has a striker fire polymer frame gun, and they're good. So is this gun portrayed as the best gun still because it was the only thing that was out there for a long time? Or is it really just the best gun out there, period? What's up YouTube, TechShot87. Today we are doing the shooting review on the H&K VP9. Finally got this thing out to the range, and boy, it is a shooter. Welcome to the channel, you guys, and thank y'all for watching. Very excited to bring this review to you guys. We did an initial review, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now we're going to take this one to the range. So what I decided to do to make this a little bit different, make it a little bit more interesting, is bring along a friend. I actually borrowed this from one of my friends, the Glock 17. These two are so close in size that I feel like a lot of people may be looking at these two guns, and I feel like it's appropriate. And I think it's going to be kind of a cool review because H&K started the striker fire polymer frame market a long time ago, but Glock really perfected it. And now everybody is chasing the Glock and maybe even doing it better now. We'll just have to see. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to talk about all the features, what they come out of the box with. This is a Gen 3, by the way. I will be referring to the Gen 4 because I know a lot of y'all will probably purchase a Gen 4 if you're buying one new. So I will be referring to some of those features to kind of make it a little bit more fair here. So just bear with me on that. But in general, Glock 17, a lot of the features are pretty much going to be the same. Right out of the box, let's talk about this real quick. With the Glock, you get two 17-round magazines. It's a steel body underneath the polymer. 17 rounds. On the Gen 4s, it actually comes with 3. You also get their little plastic little speed loader. On the Gen 4, you get actually all the Glocks, you get a hard case like this. You get all your paperwork and everything. But on the Gen 4s, you get the interchangeable back straps. So that's one thing that will come with a Gen 4. On the H&K, it's going to come with two 15-round magazines. They're steel body construction. The H&K is made in Germany, and the Glock is made in Austria. So 15 rounds on the H&K. The H&K also will, not just the interchangeable back straps, but it also allows you to change the side panels. So it gives you small, medium, and large for each side that you're doing there. Hard case, paperwork, all that good stuff. So that's basically out of the box what you're going to get. So let's go ahead and get into this. We got our monster, we're ready to go, and let's go ahead and talk about the features of the gun. So H&K came out last year. Huge success with the H&K. Some of the features of it, you have the interchangeable back straps like we talked about with the side panels that come off. Of course, you have front and rear slide serrations, ambi controls, so your slide stop is over here and it's on the left side of the pistol. A few things that make this pistol different though, the magazine release is actually in the trigger guard there. So it is naturally ambidextrous. Very different, but very, very useful. I really like that a lot. You have these little polymer ears on the back. You can see them sticking out there. That just helps with racking the slide. gives you something to hold on to. They are removable, but I actually do see a use for those. I actually like them. Chamber indicator is basically it doubles as with your extractor, so this will actually show red whenever you have a round in the chamber. True glow steel sights, these are kind of hokey. I don't really like them at all, to be honest with you. There is a law enforcement model, I believe, and it comes with night sights. That would probably be a really good upgrade. These sights don't do a lot for me. The best thing about them is they're 3-dot, so pretty easy to pick up in that respect. But the part where they glow, you gotta put an external light on them, and as far as like a home side bed gun, it would be great, except you know you're not going to have time to put light on these and then use them. So a striker indicator here in the back, if you can see the red back there, everything's been safety checked too, by the way. So once you pull the trigger, this lets you know that it's in the cocked and ready to go position. Drop the trigger, it goes away, reset the striker, and it's right back. So those are basically the main features of the gun. Let's talk about the trigger really quick. You do have kind of like a safe action design here with the little dingus on the trigger. You have a little bit of something going on there in the trigger, but then you hit a nice wall and a clean break. Reset. Right there. So very nice trigger on the H&K. Now let's go over to the Glock. Now one of the biggest things you're going to notice going from the Glock really to any gun is how simple the Glock is. The H&K looks super busy compared to the Glock. That's one of Glock's claims to fame. I forgot to mention the 1913 style Picatinny rail on the H&K. On the Glock, this is, like I said, a Gen 3, so your magazine button release there is pretty small. On the Gen 4, they've made it wider and a little bit extended. You have finger grooves right here in the front, which this is a bigger gun, so everything, all my fingers fit on there just fine. You do have a rail up here. It is proprietary to Glock, so that is something to consider. Slide serrations just in the back. On the Gen 4s, I believe they're just straight up and down there, but pretty easy to get a hold of and rack the slide. And that's one thing about the Glock. You racking the slide and the ease of function, putting the magazines in, taking them out, everything is really easy, so I do like that. Stippling on the grip is pretty aggressive actually on this one. Feels different than the Gen 4s. They changed it up with the Gen 4 a little bit on the stippling, but this one's pretty aggressive, and I actually like it. No ambi controls on the Gen 3. The slide stop is just on this side, and the magazine button is not reversible. On the Gen 4, the magazine button is reversible. There is no slide stop though on the Gen 4. And just something to note, the Gen 3 magazines will work in a Gen 4 only if you're right-handed, because on the Gen 4 they actually made another notch for the extra slide stop. So if you're a left-handed shooter and you have the slide stop over here, this magazine will not release from this side. So just something to consider. I thought that was pretty interesting. And just really simple, the sights are basic Glock sights. My biggest complaint, and I know a lot of people complain about it, and it's not just following the crowd, they just do really suck. The sight picture just it's so hard for me to pick up. So they're plastic, don't do a lot for me. Loaded chamber indicator on the Glock as well is doubled with the extractor. It'll just kind of stick out here a little bit. Let me show you the trigger on the Glock. You have the safe action design with the little dingus right here. Pull it back, hit a wall. Don't hear a lot going on there. Hit the wall. Nice clean break, not a lot of travel. There's your reset, and you're ready to go. So both of them, for the purposes of what they're used for, have pretty nice triggers. just something to note here, the VP9 does have little indentions here. So basically, if you have any kind of dirt or sand in it, you can actually rip this out if you need to. The Glock, and it kind of does stick out down here at the bottom a little bit. You have a little gap right there and a place for a lanyard back here. On the Glock, you have a little bit more space right here, so the Glock just kind of sticks down underneath. I don't really like that. You know, I like it to be a part of the grip, but that's just a cosmetic kind of thing. But as far as size on these guns, they are really close. Let me get that to where it'll stand up there. You can see the grip size is pretty much the same. Go around to the front, and you will have a little bit longer barrel with the Glock there. Let me move it around here so y'all can see just the length there. So you can see the Glock is a little bit longer. The length of the Glock is 8.3 inches overall. The VP9 is 7.34, so you have what, 7/10 of an inch there longer. And some of that is the barrel. The barrel length on the Glock is 4.49. On the VP9 it's 4.09. The height of the VP9 is 5.41 inches. On the Glock it is 5.4, so they're right there. Width on the Glock is 1.18, or 1.18. On the VP9 the width is 1.3 at its widest point, mainly because I guess of this slide stop, or I'm sorry, the takedown lever. Weight is pretty comparable too. This one is 25.5 ounces and the Glock is 25, basically 25 ounces exactly. So that's one great thing these guns do, both of them, is the fact that they're basically full-size duty guns, but they feel really light. So that is a great thing. Very similar in size, both of these are. Like I said, you do have like 7/10 of an inch difference in overall length, but in general they are pretty much the same gun. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to some of the shooting here. We didn't do a lot of shooting, and one thing I just want you guys to know is that both of these guns are good shooters. The difference is gonna come in the pros and cons, how they feel in your hand. Little things like that I feel like are really gonna make the biggest difference. So let's take it to a little bit of shooting, and then we'll come back and talk about the pros and cons of each gun, how we see it, and we'll wrap this video up and see which one comes out the best for us. What's up YouTube? TechShot87. We got the H&K VP9 and the Glock 17. Just pitting these two up against each other and see how they do on the range. Let's go ahead and get started.
You still moving? Yeah.
Typically I don't brag too often. A 4-shot whole group. You see I pulled those two, but just wanted to show you that real quick.
Good, I thank you. husband. Right. Listen. Gunshot.
It needs some white. White.
Yeah. Load it and fire it.
That's what I'm talking about. H&K VP9. Such a nice trigger. Such a soft shooting gun. I pulled a couple, but 30 shots right there. I'll take it.
Uh-oh. Nice. Ooh. Bring it back.
17.
38. Expect.
I hate that.
What do you got?
Ow.
That's a perfect. Right. Be over heavy.
Sorry. Come on now.
It's brand new, and that's why I said I wasn't sure. Completely take it apart. This handgun did the same thing. Took it off.
Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. As you can see, I focused a little bit more as far as the shooting on the VP9 just because we hadn't done that shooting review. So I just wanted to give you a taste of what this thing can do. I got the targets right here. Let me grab those for you real quick. Alright, so we didn't show a lot of shooting, and there's a reason for that. Both the guns are accurate for what they are. Now, this was the one side by side that we did. Here's the H&K right here. I believe this was at 7 yards, so it wasn't a wonderful group right there. Not too bad. And then here's the Glock over here. Okay, so they're very, very close. The differences, what we're going to talk about here in a minute though, are really what set these two guns apart. We did some shooting off camera. I think right here was with the Glock, so not too bad at all there. So you can see, now we did a little bit more shooting on camera with the H&K. Like I said, I wanted to show you guys what it could do because we hadn't done that shooting review yet. Here's Jen's group with the H&K. Pulled a couple, but really right there in that group, just needed to be moved over just a little bit, but very nice right in there. So there's that. Here's the 15-yard headshot test that we did with the H&K. But both guns are great shooters. But let's talk about the pros and cons of each. Let's start with the H&K. The pros, you can change this grip to however you want to configure it. It is super comfortable in the hand. The grip texture, if every gun used that grip texture, it would be amazing. I would have no complaints. It just feels really good. Once your hands start sweating, it just grabs right into it. You do have slight finger grooves right here. It's just a very comfortable gun to hold and shoot. Ambi controls, so if you are a lefty, you have that option of ambidextrous controls. A pro for this gun in my eyes is the magazine release. I have smaller hands, so if I had to drop the mag with a regular magazine button, I would have to camp my hand to about there, drop the mag, and then reinsert another one. Since my hands are smaller, I can index it and never have to change my firing grip, put another mag in, and I'm good to go. That is a benefit to me. I really, really like that feature. The trigger is great. The trigger is great, and it's easy to stay on target and shoot. It's not the lightest trigger. It doesn't have to be. It's just very clean, very smooth. I really like it. The price on these has dropped tremendously. I've seen them for 600 bucks. I've seen them, I think there was a sale on them through Palmetto State Armory for $549. July 4th special they had going on these. That's an amazing value for this gun. Let's talk about some of the cons. Now, the magazines are expensive. What I've seen, they're anywhere from 50 to 60 bucks. A lot of places are out of stock on them. It does use P30 mags, but these things are expensive. So that is definitely a con. The sights are okay because they're 3-dot, but that's really all I really like about these. If you're gonna get one of these, it may be worth it to upgrade to the night sight option, or something of whatever's of your choice. I haven't seen a lot of aftermarket options for this yet. There is a VP40 out now from what I've seen, so that is an option if you want to go that route. But the sights, that True Glow is just garbage. A con may be in the same thing that I like, and what I mean by that, I love the magazine release, okay? But a lot of American shooters do not like this. They don't like it. It may just be a comfort thing, but training yourself to go from this to this, or however you want to do it, honestly, I think it's something worth getting used to. It may be a con for some people. That's the only reason I'm mentioning it, but for me, I really like it. For you, maybe not so much. Breakdown and reassembly. Let me go ahead and show you this real quick. Basically, you drop the magazine, lock the slide to the rear, rotate your lever down, the slide will not just come off. You have to give it a little bit of force. So what I've done is I'll put my thumb right here on the slide stop. I'll pull back on the slide a little bit. Let me show you what it does if you don't do this. Whoa, I just did it. Sorry. Out of habit there. But if you just drop the slide, you have a really tough time trying to get it off. So what I've been doing, like I said, is just pulling back on the slide a little bit and letting that force go forward. It's a little bit quirky. Don't really like it too much. Since we got them apart, let me go ahead and show you the Glock's breakdown, which is one of the pros of this gun. It will always be the most simplest gun to break down. Compared to anything, it's the most simplest. Pull the trigger, pull the slide back a little bit, pull down on your tabs, slide comes off. Just that easy. Plastic guide rod, okay, which can bother some people. Bothers me a little bit, but you have a steel guide rod on the H&K, so that is one difference there. Okay, on the Gen 4 Glocks, you will have a dual captive recoil spring that they did have some issues with initially, but it looks like they've worked that out. Here's the Glock. A little bit longer barrel there. Of course, the barrel does stick out a little bit from the Glock. A little bit longer barrel. They both use that polygonal rifling, so it's supposed to help with accuracy and all that. The difference in the slides, let me show you this real quick. This is kind of interesting. Alright, so let me show you the inside of the slides. They both are drop safe. They just go about it in a completely different way. Let me show you the Glock first. On the Glock, here's your firing pin block. So basically, until you pull the trigger and activate the sear on the trigger bar, the sear will depress this and allow the striker to move forward to let that round go off. So this is your firing pin block right here. So unless this is pushed down, the firing pin will not be able to move forward. Okay, that's something that Glock made famous. A lot of pistols use that kind of design. On the H&K, it kind of does the same thing, but it's way different. You have this little mechanism right here that is pushed over instead of down to allow now the striker to move forward and hit that next round. So very different in the way they go about it. They both do the same things, but I thought that was pretty interesting and something that I wanted to show you guys. So there you go. The internal, other than that, let me grab these real quick. You can see on the H&K you have really beefy rails right here. You also have your points of contact back here. You can see maybe the little cable down there for your trigger bar spring, and how that works right there. And then on the Glock, you can see you have your rails up here. Let me put this one down. You have your rails, points of contact right there in the back, and then here's your trigger bar, and then your spring is in the back. So very similar in the way they look, but they do things pretty different in some things. The Glock, putting it back together, is always super simple. One thing I really do love about Glock here, put your recoil spring in, slide goes on, and you're good to go. Alright, so basically when you go to put back the H&K, it's a little bit quirky in the way they do it. It's not too bad, it's just kind of annoying. Yep. Alright, so once you get it to this point, basically you take the slide, and once you get to this point, you cannot just pull back straight on the slide. It will not go. So you have to push down and then back, and it'll come on. A little bit annoying, and I see it as a con. I feel like it should just come straight back. Something I thought I'd point out. So pros and cons of the VP9. Great shooter, great trigger, great feel to the gun. Absolutely great. Bunch of options on it. You have the polymer ears you can take on or off. The sights suck. Reassembly, disassembly kind of sucks. Price of the mags and aftermarket availability. Now let's go to the Glock. The Glock basically this is the most simple, easiest operating firearm on the planet. I believe that. That is a huge pro for this gun. It's simple in its design and look. There's not a lot going on. It's easy to use. It's just a very user-friendly kind of gun. It's almost like the Apple of the firearms world. Doesn't give you a lot of options, but it's still the most user-friendly and most likely will never fail on you. You also have aftermarket support on this gun. You can change the sights, which I definitely recommend. You can do stuff with the trigger, with ghost connectors. You can do anything you want to do, extended slide stops, whatever you want to do. Stainless steel guide rods. The aftermarket support for Glock is huge because there's so many out there. So that is a great thing. 33 round mags are available for this, so you can take those Glock 18 mags, throw them right in and use those, which is a very nice thing. And it's interchangeable between the 26 and the 19. Now basically, you know, you can't throw a 26 mag in this, but if you have a 26 for carry and this for the range or home, you know, you can interchange between those. These mags will work in your 26 and vice versa. So that is a nice thing. Breakdown, like we just showed you, is super easy. And the capacity per grip size, they are basically the same grip size. And in the Glock, you get 17 rounds. H&K is 15. So that is a winner for Glock. Cons on the Glock. Even though it shoots okay, it does alright, the grip is just uncomfortable for me. Maybe it's just the angle or whatever it is. I never feel like I'm really very comfortable shooting this gun. The sights are terrible. I don't understand this. I don't understand why they just don't do a 3-dot system. Just let go of this garbage. It's just, I don't like it. Now, I don't know how reliable or robust these plastic sights are. There is a shelf here, so you can do one-handed manipulations if you wanted to, but I don't know how easy it is to actually break that. No ambi controls, so if you're a lefty, that may be just something that you have to deal with. If you go with the Gen 4, of course, you can reverse your magazine release, but just something to point out there. It's simple. For me, I don't ever shoot these very well, even though we did all right with it today. And basically that's what it's going to come down to for this review for me. The winner in my eyes is the H&K because of that. I shoot this gun so well. For me, the Glock is a little bit easier to use, but the H&K in my hands feels better and it shoots better. So really all it came down to was this grip texture. I do like the magazine button or release better, and the way it shoots. I like the simplicity of the Glock, and I want you guys to know that I really do. I like how simple it is, but I really think this is a better gun, at least for now. Now, Glock has proven to be reliable over many years, and that's undeniable. Nobody can really deny that. But if this H&K continues to be reliable, I believe this is the better handgun right out of the box. So that's where we're going to leave it. I want your guys' opinion. And one thing I want you to focus on in the comments. Do you believe that Glock is, in a lot of people's eyes, the better gun? Because for a lot of years, there were no other options like this. There was no other polymer frame pistol you could go to and say, it's just as reliable as Glock. But now, in 2015, everybody has a striker fire polymer frame pistol they're bringing to the market. Most of them are reliable and ready to go. So do you think the Glock love was just because a lot of years there wasn't much else? Or do you think it is still the best handgun on the planet, even though you have guns like the H&K, the SIG, M&Ps, and all these other guns coming right in, just as reliable and ready to go. That's what I want to know from you guys. To me, the H&K is a better choice. I'll leave it up to you guys. What do you guys think? Just drop me a comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. We will see you next time, and as always, hold them down.